There we go. What's up, Echo? Yeah, I figured I'd just start up a stream. Well, I'm gonna be working a little bit on probably Hazelnut, just kind of general workflow improvements. Um, so, right, first of all, I'm gonna be adding. We discovered some issues with controller buttons during Tim's stream, where we essentially have to type in a number here in each controller button pressed that represents a GLFW gamepad button code. The problem is that the software that Tim and Jan uses to kind of be able to use an Xbox controller tells, like, it shows the wrong number when you press a button. So we kind of have to follow the GLFW button codes. Oh. 1 second. Yeah, and so currently we have to kind of manually look up the numbers. And so I'm probably going to add an enum to represent these. Like we did with key codes. What's up, Tony? Gamepad button. And I think they're just an int, yeah. The question is, like, what's kind of good naming for like A, B, X, Y, and then you have cross, circle, square, and triangle on PlayStation. The annoying thing is I can't actually test this because I don't have a controller. Yeah, exactly, Tony. Pain, suffering, and then bug becomes feature. Oh, I'm gonna be working a bit on like editor stuff later on, so E, X, and Y. I should probably because A, B, X, and Y are obviously Xbox specific, but then GLFW uses the same codes for PS4, 5, and Xbox controllers. I used to have an Xbox 360 controller, but I think I threw that away because I got the Red Circle of Death, which wasn't fun. I should probably get a console at some point. Question is, should I name these like Xbox A, Xbox B, Xbox X, or just A, B, X, Y? Because I want, like cross equals A. I want the PlayStation kind of names as well, even though they map to the same one. Or we could just come up with custom names. Why not just make two enums and use the same value? I could do that, but the thing is, we kind of want to keep everything centralized in one enum, because you still have like all the other buttons that are basically named the exact same thing. And it's pretty much just kind of the four main buttons. Is there a gamepad type enum, or is that it's handled by GLFW? And it's like these are kind of the gamepad button codes that you ask GLFW for. So they're just defines. in GLFW. Because they have like cross, circle, square, and triangle as well. So I could do cross, circle, square, triangle, right? What buttons do the Switch have? If you just look at what they kind of look like. They also use A, X, B, and Y. So maybe having like... I mean, in that case, I think these makes the most sense to kind of have at the top, and we can have PlayStation alternatives down here. Can't you do similar to mouse buttons? How do we even handle mouse buttons? That's just an input. Yeah, we have button 0, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I could do that. Have like button 0, 1, 2, and 3, and then have like I do here, like cross, circle, square, triangle, A, B, X, and Y. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Just leave a little comment so other people will look at this. X. I need to work stuff for the next 5 to 6 hours, and I'm already bored after 40 minutes. Yeah. That's actually something I like about streaming, though, because it kind of forces me to actually do stuff and not just sit and stare at the screen. A, B, C, D, yeah. What was it? A, B, X, Y. I think it is. A, B, X, Y, 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I can easily program for 16 hours straight, but damn, I can't work with Unity for even 10 minutes. Yeah, I don't know why. I also kind of have problems working in Unity. Like, oftentimes I end up just opening Unity and then not doing anything. Left bumper. 4. What's the back button? Oh, that's a horrible. Back. Which controller even has a back button? I made a drunkard walk world generation thing in Unity that I ported to my 2D edit of Hazel. Cool. Okay. Do we even use this anywhere? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know what that one's supposed to represent. I'm gonna add it in just in case, but... guide, that is the button that is opposite of the start button. Right and left and right thumb are the when you click down the joysticks. I have to check this. I know we added it here. 7, that's the start button, right? Yeah. I also want to make my C# API thingy because it's pretty easy, but damn, I need backend first. Yeah, the backhand. The back end is definitely the hard part. The C# API itself is super simple. So where did we do this? I think it's movement input. Yeah, exactly. 9 is the left joystick button. Which I'm probably gonna name like left joystick button or something like that. Well, I don't need button in there. 9. Also, one goal: make the API better than Unity's. I mean, I don't mind Unity's API in a lot of ways, but there are some annoyances with it. I hate the fact that they use magic functions. Because magic functions are the worst. D-pad. Up, right, down, left. There's no swizzles and vectors. Yeah, no, there aren't. Don't know why. I mean, that's dead easy to implement. You just, you know. I don't think we have it in the vector 2, but I don't think it's really necessary. But in vector 3 we have like... Do we not have that? Well, we allow you to just pass a vector 2 like this, and you can do x and then y is as a vector 2. But I swear to God we had swizzling somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe we got rid of it. 11, 12, 13, 14, right? Yep. And then we have that back. Thank you. Hang on. What was that? My... Oh, Iron Mike. Thanks for following. I was looking at the wrong place in the activity feed. Thank you, Duxies, for following. Well, I can't say it's the same as the Switch because we can't test it. But yeah, so I think this is literally all the gamepad buttons. Which means in here, we can do gamepad button dot, and it's the left joystick. Yeah. And of course that can't convert to an int. I also found Unity's 2D support kind of horrible. Found the game engine serious and follow that to sort of understand the 2D basics. I mean, I think Unity has probably one of the best kind of 2D implementations. Well, maybe not implementation-wise, but in terms of the support. But I mean, it's still not great. See, the problem here is I kind of don't want to take in a button here. Like, I don't want to change this from an int to a gamepad button because that will break backwards compatibility. It's not a problem for like script invaders because we can just update that really easily. I mean, it might actually be fine. I mean, if there's something nice about Unity, it's the fact that some things suck so bad I can make them better in Hazard, yeah. I mean, I'm fine with taking in a gamepad button here, to be honest. Just casting it down to an int. That's fine. Because we can still take in... Oh, we can actually still pass an int like that. Cool. Job, which is button 0. Or should I just do A? It's the same thing, but when reading the code and if you see button 0, it may be a bit confusing. So yeah, let's go with that. Oh, what's up, Tim? You can go through and update them. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, you don't actually have to if you don't want to, because this still works, even though we're taking in the enum type, so it's fine. Timmy No Sleep is back. I mean, to be fair, it's only, what, 10 p.m. or something? But keep in mind that PS has an X as a shape. Yeah, I know. In here, so we have button 0, 1, 2, and 3, and they kind of correspond to the proper ones. And then we have cross, circle, square, and triangle if you want to use the PlayStation names. Yeah, only like 9 p.m. So yeah, I did account for PlayStation controls as well. So if you kind of don't want to tie yourself to a single console, just use the buttons. Otherwise, just use these names. See, I didn't want to kind of leave PlayStation out, but I think I'm gonna use kind of A because I think most people know where the A button is on like a controller. And I mean, this is kind of our game, so it doesn't really matter. What's up, iDev? And the only reason I'm actually updating the bottom their game to use these, to use this enum is to kind of show it in use. Wait, you can't do this? You can't implicitly convert an int. Fine. I'll do this for backwards compatibility only. Could add a deprecated warning here, but it's not deprecated. So which one was that? 2, which is X. And that's for interacting. Yeah, I think that makes sense. What's up, Jan? To be more annoying, not a big deal, but Nintendo controllers have different ABXY placements. Yeah, I saw that. My idea is that if worst case scenario, we'd have to have our own essentially button codes in the engine and then convert to the proper either GLFW codes or Nintendo Switch codes, depending on the platform. Not sure if that's the best way, but that's kind of just what I thought of. iDev, I'm working on just general engine improvements. Right now, I'm naming gamepad buttons, but I'm going to be working a bit on Hazelnut as well. Yeah, I think that as well. It doesn't really matter in the end. You can just adjust it however you like. UI in-game can change to reflect type of controller connected. Yeah. Yeah, having a bit of a chill day. So you can use the B button to release the mouse. Or do we use escape for anything else? We literally don't use that one. Oh, we don't even use A and D, so we don't have strafing support in the game. Oh, but this is in the main menu. Start. Low key, this whole thing is gonna be somewhat confusing. At least to read, because if someone is programmed with an Xbox controller in mind. Yeah. But also, like, I mean, we could always, put like the console name in front Like just have Xbox A, Xbox B, Xbox X and such, but I don't really like that. And also, if you really wanted to kind of not limit yourself to Xbox or PlayStation, you can just use button 0. But that's also like not very descriptive. Yeah, exactly. So the whole situation isn't great, to be honest. But I mean, it is better than having to manually type in a random integer and kind of, having to go to GLFW, because apparently you can't trust the software that you guys were using because it's off by 1. But also, like, if anyone's kind of reading this and is kind of confused, they can just look at it, and it says here Xbox name, PlayStation names, ABXY Xbox. Yeah, I think anything will be better than having to manually look up values. Especially if you're someone like who doesn't necessarily have like a console to test on right there and then, or at the very least a controller. Yeah. What's that? B. I may start like using button 2 and such instead of going like .a. This is button 1. But like that's also not descriptive. Yeah, go full on Unity and just do like jump, like give them proper names that are very much tied to common functionality. But I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep using the Xbox names, but they'll work the same on a PlayStation. And we do have an option to use a name that isn't tied to a console. That's the one I did. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Most people on Windows should be using Xbox controllers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll definitely stick with that. But hang on, Tim. This 8, does that actually represent the left thumbstick when you click it down? Because I thought we were using the... You use your PS5 one. Yeah. I'm confused. Which codes are correct? The GLFW ones or... What? Because that says guide. Yeah, you tested it. I'm so confused. So that means the codes should start from 1 and not 0. Which... Oh, this is... Alright, hang on. You remember writing 0 in some places. Well, because if they start from 0, then 8 does not represent the click down button on the joystick. That should be 9 in that case, because in that case we're using GLFW codes. Right? Okay, so if you look, jump is bound to the A button on a controller, right? But also we don't have a way to test it. Which button did you use to kind of interact with? I think left bumper is 4 and right bumper is 5, and I think that's the typical buttons that you would use for shooting. Interaction uses ID 2, which would be X on an Xbox. So we are using GLFW codes. Then why should this be 8? Because that's guide. I mean, you or Jan is gonna have to. You're gonna have to test this before it gets put in a distribution either way. So we'll catch it if we should start from 1 or 0. I can take a look in the script invaders repository. Okay, yeah, here for shooting you use 0, which would be the A button. So we do start from 0. So how did having this as 8 work? Because I thought it was 9, and then you changed it to 8 after noticing that 9 represented the right thumbstick. A or trigger. Yeah, exactly, because you use the... I assume the right trigger is a... essentially like the joysticks, because it does have kind of that smooth transition. Okay, I'm gonna write this using like essentially putting 9 here, and then you and Jan are gonna have to test it, and we'll have to adjust it if it's wrong. So I'm putting down left joystick here. So just change the values if they're incorrect. Yeah, it was kind of hard to test. Yeah, You're gonna have to test this and see if it works or not, but just like, if this should be 8, then I don't know what the deal here is, because 0 is definitely A. So yeah, but we'll have to take a look at that. Cool. I mean, I can go ahead and push it right now if you want, so you can test it, because that's the only change I made. What's this? I can unstage this. Okay, I'm pushing that, and I'll push the updated game scripts as well. Not sure what I changed in there, but it doesn't matter. All right, give that a go and let me know if anything should be changed. Because guide is usually like the Xbox symbol. One second, check this branch out. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, no, this is weird. Okay. Right. I was gonna change the transform component to be more to Tim's liking when doing multi-editing, which should be pretty easy. If you want, I can make it more difficult by asking you to make it like Blender's multi-object editing. I have not checked that out. I don't know how that works, and it sounds painful. As in, like, duplicate this, and like, yeah, not sure I understand, but please don't. For translation, it would be the same, but for rotation, they would all rotate around one central point. Don't we do that? I thought... Hang on, I may not have implemented that. Why did I select the skylight? Oh, right, I disabled the gizmos for multiple entities. Whereas I think if we changed it in Hazel, they would all rotate around. Yeah, that's possible. I was originally going to want them to rotate around like the central origin, right? So like this point for the trees. But I suck at matrix maths, which um, as is probably obvious by this strange behavior. Reload the scene. But yeah, so right now this snaps them to the same X, and you wanted them to kind of be translated by the amount, right? And if you type in like, yeah, absolutely beautiful. Looks amazing, right? This is why you don't let me do matrix maths. It goes wrong. Always just do raw component. There we go. Right. If it's multi-edits, we have to yeah. Okay, I mean that shouldn't be too hard to do. I could just do like figure out the difference here in translation. We do need to store the old translation though. Guess who is so done with work right now? Well, probably Tim. rotation diff. Is it the old translation minus the new one? Because if the new one goes up to say 50 and it was 20, then yeah, so it's new versus old. I mean, we could probably do the same thing for rotation and scale if you drag. I'm gonna have to add some special behavior if you do manual editing by typing in values. Are you from this planet? What's this one? Alright. I'll start with adding like a difference. In the rotation and scale as well. And that's supposed to be rotation. And this is what we should add to all entities except for the original one. No, to all entities, because we do a copy here. What's up? Yeah, so just working on like making improvements to the Hazelnut editor, some workflow improvements and stuff like that. Because we discovered there were some problems with it during bottom there. Okay, so I'm not gonna completely get rid of that code because I'm gonna want that eventually. Did you win the competition? No, the voting is still happening. There's like 16 days until you get the results. Most panic caused by a game jam. Yeah, it was. We were panicking quite a lot. I'm led to believe that I am, Tommy. Yeah. Theory, this is really easy. I just do component translation. I'm really hoping that the rotation that I'm dealing with is in radians. No, it's not. So I'm gonna have to do... Wait. Yeah, because we do degrees. There. So in theory, this should just work. In fact, doing this may actually let me not have to kind of have this if is multi-edit thing here. Because this is essentially the default behavior. It's just I'm doing it a bit differently. Yeah, this could actually be a good change. So if I take these, hey, it's working. Now you don't actually see any values because they still have different translations, but that's fine. Okay, that works. Works like a charm. Let's check rotation. I feel like that's not correct. Somehow. Okay, let's check scale. Scale works. Yeah, I mean it's super simple. You literally just like calculate the difference between the new and the old translation, and you add that to all entities. You think the rotation is correct or is wrong? Because we store the rotation in radians, but we want to see them as degrees when we're editing. Which is why we kind of do this as well. So something is very broken with that. Although I have no idea why it's happening this way. Canvas covering some of it, but it looked correct. Really? I mean, okay, let's do a more basic test, right? If I just... Do we have some cubes? We do. Now the question is... There it is. Alright, and I duplicate it and move it over there. Yeah, I mean, that's correct. Probably just looked a bit weird with the trees from where the camera was. Although I think they're rotating in the wrong direction. No, they're not. Yeah, so this works. Oh, I think I know. The trees may have had a rotation. Yeah, you see, they already have rotations, which is... Yeah, exactly. That's why it looked weird. So yeah. Now, I forgot to test one thing. If I disable the fog every time, which is super annoying. If I take these two trees and I manually edit this to say 10, then they get snapped to 10. Do we want that? Well, I think they get snapped to 10. 10. No, they don't. Okay, Tim, do we want all selected objects to be set to, for an example, 10 when I type in 10 manually? I think so, yeah? Yeah. Now, which function is it? I know there's like an iron GUI. Is item deactivated after edit? The problem is I'm gonna have to do this for all three fields, I think. I would have to have that in here. because it would have to be here, right? So I'll go int item deactivated after edit. Because it's very explicit, I think it would make the most sense. Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry, what is this? What is this absolute garbage? A 32-bit onside integer set to false. I know false is 0, but what? Absolute garbage. Okay. I could make this return an enum that kind of tells us how it was modified, because we can now modify it in 2 different ways. Let's edit method manual. That's how you spell man. Is that how you spell it? Yes. Drag. And so we don't return this. We do edit method. Edit method. We're gonna need a none. When you do this, we want to set them to the default, so we do manual there. Right. I don't know if we need to do an or equals, because you can't. I don't think you can drag multiple sliders at once. So when you drag in, it's bad. But if this is true, we set it to manual again. I'm pretty sure this is what I have to do. Yeah, we do need an or equals, I think. Or I could handle well, yeah, no, actually we do need that, because if this, say that this returns edit method manual, this returns none, then it would be set to none. Thank you, Brian Novsky. Brianovsky. Can I do an or equals? I don't know, but now I'll start with mono and blow my brain up. Yeah, good luck with that. Also, do I still need to count every crash? Yes. Please do. What is this garbage code? Okay, I've changed my mind. I'm not gonna have this. Instead, I will say that you have to take out a boolean that will write to that says manually edited. Because resource modified. Thank you, Hector Moro, for following. And then we do. And we need to do an or equal there as well. I'm much more happy with that. And we're gonna have to deal with these separately. Rotation. Scale. So let's first of all check here. Yeah. Could make it a pointer. Pass in null pointer. But I think I'll just do this instead. Just want to make sure that we can actually detect manual editing. So if I drag this, we don't get it. Use the gizmos, don't get it. If I come in here and I type in 50, oh, right, multi-editing is required. False. Still returns false. I remember having problems with this in the past as well. And I think it's because we're doing it yeah, that's not the right function. It's in here, I think. No, actually, that is the correct one. Yeah, it is. I did this for the C# array field rendering as well, I think. Yeah. No, I use this cheeky little hack and it returns true. Wait, what? Yeah. But that disables manual kind of dragging. So that won't work either. This is why I sometimes don't like iMovie. Because sometimes things just doesn't work out. Even though they logically should. Hasn't crashed yet. Yeah. Have you even written any more code yet? Ten lines. including empty lines and brackets. Okay, so roughly one line of monocode. A. It returned true. You think I have monocode? No, I don't. Yes! So that's, for some reason, worked. Right? Hang on, what if I put it down here? Just want to make sure it works. See, for some reason, changed returns true after this has been set to manually edited. Oh, I know what it is. I know what's happening. So, let's see. This is bullshit because it returns, I think what's happening is it returns true as I'm typing, maybe. Or it returns true, yeah, no, hang on. Wait, what? I have no idea what's happening. So, I mean, at this point, obviously change is true, but yeah, I've got no clue. Because this seems to be set to true either before or after this has been true. Which doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you can see here changed is true twice, which is basically when I'm typing the values. But manually edited doesn't get set true until a bunch of frames later. Which is so annoying. I think there may be a potential fix. And that is to go in here and say that if the ID is item activated, right? If this is true, then that means we're manually typing. So we set modified equal to false. And then if this has returned true, we set modified to true explicitly. I think that could work. Alright, if manually edited. And we do modified set to true. This could potentially solve it. Can see it's returning false everywhere. Yes. True and true. Although we did still get these two. Right, I think I know why. Yeah, also. Because if the translation was manually edited, this would be set to the value. So that literally just means we go through and we don't do plus equals. We just set it equal to translation rotation. But this also depends on which axis we modify like this. So we do this. We use that exact code. Whereas in here, we do that. I feel like this should work. Or rather, I hope it works. Although that will only happen when we modify the translation, so we're gonna have to do that a bit more cleverly. But I just want to test to make sure I didn't break anything. So select this. This still works good. If that works, if I do 10, I assume that's correct. We select these and we do this. It works. Go in and do 10. Nah, no, that didn't work. Why? The problem is that change, for some reason, still gets set to true before this. So we run this code. I think. Because I think modified returns true as I'm typing. I'm wondering if there's like a flag I can set this, have it not do that. Well, I know there's like that enter key thing, but I don't think that does what I want. No, it's not that one. Oh, you can't do that for this one? Logarithmic. Disable control click or enter key allowing. Yeah, I don't want to disable it. If is item activated and changed. No, modified. Sorry. Set it to false. Because I don't want it to return modified as true when we do when we're manually editing it. Because that will make it harder for me to detect us manually editing. So hopefully this works. So true. Why? What's up with this? Because I assume that when you I would assume this sets some kind of flag to kind of let you know. What's up, Plaza TV? Nah, this is an engine I'm helping develop, but it's the Chernos engine, Jan Chernikov on YouTube. It's the Hazel game engine. Here he is. can drop a link. Maybe this could work. But yeah, I work for Jan to kind of help develop the engine. How long did it take you to learn C++? Well, I mean, I still don't fully understand everything about it, but a couple years, I think. Oh, I think it worked. I think it worked. Let's see if we find it. Okay, true. Yeah, it worked. Awesome. So, let's take a look. If something has changed and we need to handle translation, because now we only do this for the axis. We kind of want to know which axis was modified. But I could just... Well... Don't we sort of know this, though? Well, no, we don't. So it would be good to know which axis got modified, because we don't want to change all the others. But do we, though? If I just get rid of rotation and scale, and we just focus on the translation for now. If this behaves the way I think it does, then the objects would end up at the exact same location. If I know Java, do you think I could do C++? Eventually, yeah. There's a lot of similarities. I started with Java as well. But there are a couple of, like, obviously you need to deal with more with low-level memory and low-level APIs in general. But there are similarities that can make it slightly easier. But like anyone can do C++, they just have to kind of put their minds to it. So if I do 10, they remain at... It works the way I want it to work, but not the way I expected it to work. Cool. Now I just have to say, come up with a better way of handling this. Because I... But wait. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I think I can literally just do this. If that or rotation or scale manually edited. I think this will just work. So, I mean, if I take these and say these two, I want you to be at x0. Is that x0? Wait, which tree was it? What? Did it not work? Yeah, it did work, I think. I should probably test this with cubes or something to keep it simple. Let's get this player controller test going. Just start deleting things. Duplicate. Okay. Duplicate that. All right. So if I select these and this doesn't work. Why does this not work? I'm gonna have to look at that. But if I do like 10. Oh. I wanted to do, let's start by moving them to -10. And back to 0. 10. Okay, so manually inputting works. Dragging does not. So let's figure out why. If changed and either of these are true, we figure out the translation. We do that. And we add it. Yeah. So let's do dragging. I mean, it works for a single entity. But not for multiple. Debug callback works. Cool. I have a feeling I am doing something incorrect. Oh, because it's returning true for that as well. As well as changed. So this gets hit. But why? Why you do this? So what, this returns true? All of a sudden? mean, we should only check this. Okay, let's. Should only check this if is active is no is item active. Thank you. We only do this if the item is active, because I think the item being active means that we're manually editing. I'm pretty sure. So let's pick you. So what, now it's never being set? Yeah, this seems a bit fishy. Does this clear it? No, doesn't look like it. Wait. Yeah, I mean, that won't work because it won't be active anymore. But why is this returning true? Well, I guess because it would count as a deactivation. Right. So if I'm clicking, then it would be considered active, I think. Like clicking and dragging. We could check focus. Potentially. Yeah, you can see it's true when I'm dragging. And it's also true while I'm doing that. That's great. Don't get me wrong, it's good. What about is item focused? Because I think it would be considered focused while I'm dragging as well. Man, I'm GUI just does not want to have a good way of getting this information. Yeah, still being set to true. Also being set to true. And because it's true, and this is returning true, we do this. So let's maybe do if manually edited and modified. Basically, I need to be able to distinguish between the user manually like typing in a value into a text field versus actually like clicking and dragging the field like this. And you're supposed to be able to use this, but this also returns true when you drag. I've noticed. I think. Maybe verify that. Wait, what? Oh. Really? I have to do that? That's annoying. Yeah, you can see it's not being set to true here. Here, it did get set to true. I think. I thought I saw it flash by. Or not. So my solution for manually editing is we check is item active, but the thing is that also returns true, but we can't do that either. Hang on. I think I saw a very useful function. So if I'm GUI is active ID using key. No. Temp input is active. I know that this uses that for manually editing things. ID, which gets passed in. which is literally this ID. Oh, but it takes an I'm GUI ID, so we need to do this. So if temp input is active, meaning we are manually editing, we are setting modified to false. Otherwise, we set this. But what I could do, I think, is to if not modified. So if modified is false, then we check for this. This could potentially work. I hope. So I'm no longer logging anything to the console. So okay, it works for a single entity. We do multiple entities, and we do this. It works. We type it in, so this is 19, so let's do 15. Wait, no. See, that didn't work, because this wasn't set to true. So I thought that worked, but no. So finicky. What? Tony got timed out by Nightbot. What did you even say? Wait. Okay. I'm gonna tweak the spam filter settings, because that's the second time Nightbot has timed someone out for virtually no reason. Spam protection. So what did it say? Stop spamming caps. So it counts emojis as caps. Or something. So it said caps. So what the? Yeah, it's the emotes. It counts emotes as. Okay, hang on. Yeah, I know I'm using it now, but it still doesn't quite work the way I wanted to. Okay, Tony, give it a shot now. I've adjusted some settings. What's up, Eddie? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to disable that stuff. And if you get banned, I will unban you. I think it's because you type that in. Because you have to type in kapow in all caps. And that causes Nightbot to just go nope. That's interesting. Yeah, so this should now, it should be safe to use that. Cool. Might end up disabling those filters eventually. Oh! Tony! He got timed out, I think. He got timed out for a 600 seconds. Okay. 1 second, I gotta fix that. Sorry, Tony. Let's see. I think it's here. Hang on. There you go. Now you're no longer. Sorry. I didn't see the 600 seconds. Right. Awesome. Sometimes Nightbot is just not quite up to the task. Thing is, it works sort of, except when I do this, because this should also end up at 10. Right? Which means, because it doesn't, that means this doesn't get set. Yeah, Nightbot's a bit finicky. Now I think technically what I can do is do this. Was temp input active equals that. And then if it was active, but it no longer is. The thing is though, I'm not entirely sure like how quickly if it was active but it no longer is, or if it always if was temp input active. We check that. Let's give that a go. Okay, cool. It actually functions. It works exactly like it's supposed to. Hang on. So I drag it to that side and it goes there. So we do this one as well, and we do. Yeah, no, it's correct. Okay, it works. Don't think it would work for. Would it work for? Yeah, I mean, this should just function. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I mean, I don't like the fact that we have what? One, two, three. We have four branches, which isn't, awful. How does the scene look without bloom? Probably not good. I don't imagine. Also, why did my music stop? Sure. So we disable fog. We have bloom enabled. I mean, it doesn't look too different. It's just, the lampposts are boring. Yeah, I mean, you can see it doesn't do much. Only time it's really kind of noticeable is if you're actually down on the ground. So yeah, there isn't much bloom. Yeah, exactly. So Tim, I don't know if you saw it, but it now functions as it's supposed to. So you can do this to drag, and if you want them all to be at 1, you just type in 1, hit enter, and snap. And it should also work with like rotation and scale as well. So if you really want a giant lamppost, you could just do 5. Okay, so tab doesn't work, interestingly enough. So yeah, unlike most Studio Journey games, this had small amount of bloom. Yeah. So it works, it's just when you have this active and you tab, it doesn't register for some reason. Yeah, welcome, Roggy Dev. Just tweaking like some problems that we found with the editor during Let 'em Dare. Bloom just got introduced, so I went overboard. Yeah, that game has a lot of bloom. Now, what happens if I do this? Yeah, resetting even works. Cool. Now, I'm actually kind of curious why tabbing doesn't work. Thank you, William Golding, for following. Because I would have thought this hits it returns to I tab. So the next time this runs, it would. I mean, I could do this. Thank you, Lazy0008, for following. Also, Peter, I tested your controller enums, and I don't think back is a button, so I think if you delete it and just the buttons. That's. Yeah, because I also didn't think there was like a back button. The weird thing is if I go to GLFW's like page for this, right here. For some reason, they have a back button. But that's what's so weird, right? Because I don't know of any back buttons existing. But yeah, you're probably right. And there's like no documentation on what it is. Yeah, one less than the left joystick. Like, I have no clue what this is supposed to represent. Because there's like no documentation on it at all. Xbox, let's just check it. Yeah, genuinely no idea what that's supposed to be. But yeah, let's modify it since then the right joystick was affected with the left joystick enum. Yeah. So if you can even see like my little comment here. Which button is this? I don't think it's a real button. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. No, the select button is... Wait. Because the select button is on a PlayStation controller, but I think that's equivalent to the start button. Button names. Well, it could be the select button. Yeah, I think it's the select button on a 360. I don't know if Xbox One has that one. I'd assume they do. Arcade saying a GameCube. What? Unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with... Let's check. Yeah, I'm not gonna read this. Back B6. Yeah, absolutely. We'll totally support GameCube. You know, why not? Arcade games too. I mean, we basically already have arcade games in Hazel. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna pretend like that back button doesn't exist. Because why would it? So I'm only gonna push the key code stuff right now because I still want to do a bit more work on this. Text gamepad buttons being incorrectly mapped. Yep. I mean, I'd assume this gets set to false when... Oh, but the thing is, when we go from this one, let's say this one being active, what will happen then? We may want this to be outside, basically have it be here. All right. And bring this here. Maybe could make tab work. I don't know, I'm just trying stuff at this point. I'll build a game for Intel 8080. Yeah, totally. One second, guys. Okay. Gonna run Cyberpunk 2077 with ray tracing enabled at 0.05 frames per year. Pretty much. Okay, so let's just verify that. That works. That did not seem like it worked. Okay, so let's do these two, whichever they are. Okay, they're those. 10. Yeah, hang on. No, that's not correct. Yeah, that's not correct. It would be easier to test if align them onto axis and change the third. Yeah, but the thing is, testing like if the enter key like was pressed down and that kind of stuff, it's pretty easy. What did I just do? Okay, so I've restored this. Let's make sure it still works with this code. Thank you, Napoleon, for following me. Pretty sure he is dead, but sure. So that one is 60, so let's do 50. Yeah, because now it works. Right, and that's 50, this is 50. Will some of the LD50 branch be merged into master? Oh, all of it will be merged in once we've tested it and kind of improved upon the changes we made. A lot of the bug fixes and that kind of stuff were literally just hacked in. Same thing with the fog, right? And we kind of want to make sure that stuff's properly stable and working before merging. But it will be merged at some point. So why wouldn't this work with tab? Because we go from this being active to this being active. Oh, it's because of the label. The ID itself is... I'm pretty sure... No, because the label is X and Y and Z. So it's not even dealing with like a unique, non-unique label. That's probably not a good way of testing. Yeah, I'm really not entirely sure why tabbing isn't working. Because that should essentially do the same as enter, except it activates the next field. Yeah. I mean, does it work for this if I do 6? Yeah, it works. But for multi-editing, if I go 10, then it doesn't. And what do we even want to happen? We want it to have the same behavior as this. But for some reason, that's not happening. Probably call it something like nav or something like that. Nav input down. An input identifier for navigation. Thank you, 314 Canalas, for following. One moment, guys. Ja. All right. Space escape, alt arrow keys. So I don't know that this is what I want. Tab. IntelliSense decided to die. Yeah, it kind of sucks when that happens. Also, I'm pretty sure this is not great. We have label there and label here, and we're taking in everything by a reference. So that's not amazing, I don't think. Although it might be fine. It's somehow dealing with it. Damn. Why did they decide to use black text on an orange background like this?